Hi, YouTube. Now, this is for a friend, and it's your fault I got it stuck in my head. Here goes. Tuck you in, always been, keep you free from sin, till the Sandman comes. Enter Sandman, Metallica. Robin's Hood was singing it. It's like, now I got that, so I love it. It's one of my favorites. I also like, of course, Nothing Else Matters, Until It Sleeps, No Leaf Clover is my favorite with the symphony and Metallica, the S&M album. So anyway, you would think, well, sadomasochism. No, symphony and Metallica. But anyway, it was a pretty good selling album. I like King Nothing. Where's your crown, King Nothing? Haha, you're just nothing. So anyway, I'm in kind of a goofy mood. I was watching, oh, I picked dandelions before to help a lady make some dandelion tea, and I was watching a woman make some, like salves and balms and different things she's going to do with her dandelions. Another lady I get on there, dandelion uses, and benefits. And the first thing out of her mouth is, and this, it's so robotic to me. Don't get me wrong, I feel this way, but it's a little different than how people portray it. They're like, oh, God is good all the time. That's how she starts her video. Inside, it just made me laugh, and I'm like, whoa, is that right? Well, when he's teaching somebody a lesson, he's really not, it turns out good, but God is not good all the time. It may be used for good purposes, but I don't know. I'm thinking, how well do you really know God? Whoa. Anyway. Yeah, he is good all the time, but to open your video like that, and maybe she 100% believes that with all her heart, God bless her, but it's just funny. It's so robotic, to me. That's the way I feel about it. People do things out of habit, or how it makes them look, or it just didn't seem believable is what she was saying. The look on her face didn't go along with what she was saying, is what I'm saying. So I had a psychologist try to bait me into whether or not, narcissists will turn into narcissists because they had bad mothers or whatever, and they do blame the mother for that. It's like, ew. I ain't watching your video, jerk. I'm just as highly trained as you are in that area, maybe more so, from the Masons and Jesuits, and I'm with their psychological bullshit that you're a part of. I'm not buying your shit. I had one son, like I say, his ex-girlfriend gets a hold of me, have no clue where he is, what he's doing, and they have fingers and arms. These people can write. I have another son that my daughter-in-law divorced, and they have children. The other one has a kid, too, he doesn't take care of. And I don't know that my oldest one isn't taking financial care of them. But I'm thinking, I'm assuming right now probably not. But my daughter-in-law asked me where Luke was, and I'm like, I don't know. I think when he has money, he's outside so he can use his drugs, and when he runs out of money, he goes to shelters. Or drinking, whatever. That's my assumption. I have no clue, but I'm really not going to take responsibility on the hundreds of nights I've lost sleepless because of my sons and their ways, and they are very wicked men. It's like, no. You go take your poor mother shit and shove it somewhere. because you have misplaced your thoughts with me, Mr. Professor. That's all I'll say on that. And this person, this professor I'm talking of, psychology, maybe he had a real rotten mother. Maybe his mother tried to molest him or did, or whatever they did in an incestuous situation or whatever. And my kids were around that on the other side of the family. Their dad's side of the family is retarded like that. So, and they do pattern themselves after their father. They love their daddy. So, whatever. And because I have strength within my life of ethics and morals and I have values, people are trying to put me down. Once again, ew, shove it. So anyway, I'm not responsible for the way other people act on this planet. I know how my sons acted within my home because I had regulated their lives. I didn't totally run it, but I regulated as much as I could with the other dark cabal bullshit that they were around and attacked by. So, and maybe perhaps they're doing their best with all they went through too. But taking the blame isn't something you're going to readily put on me that I'm going to readily accept and say, oh, yeah, you're right, just because peers and pseudoscientists, fake science, says this is the way something is, that you think I'm going to go along with it? Try again. Nice try, no cigar. Pink Floyd, have a cigar? Come over here, boy. Have a cigar. You're gonna go far. You're gonna fly high. You're never gonna die. You're gonna make it if you try. They're gonna love you. But it was only fantasy. The walls were so high that you could see. No matter how you tried, you could not break free. And the worms ate into his brain. I always try to get people to listen to that song, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Great song. Love it. It's just like one of my favorite Eagles song, Those Shoes. They don't have the lyrics for it. But I wish they did, because Doug's hard of hearing. But Those Shoes is a super appropriate song for people like that. Another thing I wish they had the lyrics for was Heart. Their song White Lightning Wine. I had the music to it. I used to play it on my guitar when I was like really totally brain dead. I used to play Magic Man for my ex, and I was a little stupid back then. A little bit. Not entirely, but somewhat, you know. At least I got that other song out of my head. It's better than getting something like the Macarena or something stuck in your head. Oh my God. Remember when that was popular? That was crazy. Do you all remember the dancing baby? Do you remember that thing? That was disgusting. Little creep. It's like somebody put some clothes on that baby. And one thing I don't like is babies running around in diapers. It's like, don't you know they have little jeans and little dresses and all kinds of neat things for little people? Tiny shoes, all that. You could actually dress them like respectable human beings instead of some flesh suit thing that you just wipe its butt and stick another diaper on it. Boy, you're just begging for your child to be mutilated and abused. Oh, look at my child. It's half naked. Have at it. That's the way it makes me feel with these people. It's like, put some clothes on your children, people. They're human beings. All the misconceptions that God could make flesh and intelligence, but people had to cover themselves with fig leaves. What a bunch of hooey. You really think the first child didn't have a blanket? I was like, come on. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one. In case you were wondering. So you probably weren't, but now you know. I get in a goofy mood sometimes. I was just exercising, and sometimes right after that I have this adrenaline thing going on. So yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. You can do push-ups really easy. You don't even have to get on the floor to do them, you know. You can go to a chair, walk up to a wall. You can do push-ups off a wall. You can do them on a countertop, anywhere. You can do it like part way off the ground, like on the end of your bed. You know, something like that, without really, if have like a bad back, don't go to the strenuous part of where it hurts you. Just work right before that point and stop. Don't take it to the threshold, you know. You can still work out injured areas in your life, work around it, you know. I would anyway. And if you can't run like a marathon, sprint every once in a while, just, you know, just in case of bears, you know. Make sure you can stay quick and agile, you know. I know people that were and are like 50 years old and can't really even bend over and tie their shoes. I can just about put my elbows on the ground and my arms, my head down and my arms between and back behind my legs totally. But yeah, I can easily put my palms on the ground and almost my elbows. I used to be able to do my elbows, but I had a really bad injury that I'm still working on to work around that injured area like I was talking about, you know, so I really know what I'm talking about. One of my dreams when I was younger was being a senior bodybuilder. I could like do that anytime until I think for that it's 60, and then they go like a 60-year class, 70, 80, and whatever. So yeah, probably by the time I get around to it, I'll be competing against all men in bikinis that have had all kinds of things chopped up and altered, you know. Wouldn't doubt it. That's okay. Most likely the definition in my body is better than theirs anyway, no matter what they try to do themselves, so it doesn't matter. Yes, I look like a woman. I don't have man muscles, you know. They don't look like a man's, you know, but they have the definition all over me, you know. So yeah. And no matter what a guy does, there's still a certain shape of most women that men can't achieve no matter what. They can put fake things on, but there's still little things we say and do as women that men don't, you know. I suppose a lot of men just really are in touch with that feminine spirit inside themselves, you know. maybe not. Whatever it is. The Baphomet, you know. Of course, what is spirit and immortal souls has to be described in the flesh, because that's the only way that's the only reference that they have, you know. We don't want to talk about what is actually and truly spiritual and what we are supposed to be learning here on this planet, you know. But anyway. So yeah, it isn't easy, people. I mean, I don't mean to come out here and just downgrade like the millennial reign or the millennial generation at all, because there's a lot of good people, even X generation, Gen X, whoever. There's a lot of nice people out in the world, really sweethearts, good people. But there was a report that Doug was telling me about that 1 out of 2 millennials don't believe in a higher power at all. So 50% of the millennials don't believe that God exists. And like Doug said, you can really tell in society. Well, and he said you can blame, the parents, and it's absolute truth. What did they see? What were they around? Their parents weren't acting godly. How can you expect people that aren't raised with a person with God in their heart, if you pattern yourself after scum, you're not going to seek anybody higher because of all the hypocrisy that they've seen. So I don't blame them at all, unless they know better and they made a decision. That's a whole different thing. And then it was something like 30 or 40% of the millennials still live with their parents. I heard a guy I sub to, he's a younger guy, and he talks about relationships and psychology and whatnot. He was talking about how hard it is out on the dating scene and meeting people online and trying to form relationships and stuff. And there's 2 subjects here I'm going to go into. One, he was talking about, okay, so it's hard to have relationships. So I wouldn't be looking online for a relationship group. I would join a group if you like to go hiking or swimming or biking or some of your interests. Are you an artist? What do you do? Can you connect with groups of people that go on like nature walks? If you want to learn herbal medicine, if you want to learn wild edibles, if you collect agates, if you bike, like I say, what do you do in your life? And look for people with like interests. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be looking for hookup groups. I'd be looking for somebody that was in the same mindset, that I could start out as friends first. That would be the normal, typical thing that we always did back in the day. And then he talked about the affordability of housing and stuff, that my generation had it so much better than his. No buckwheat, sweetheart, boo-boo, honey pie, sugar pie. Let me tell you something. When you make 95 cents an hour, and the food was a little cheaper too, but the rent was a little cheaper, you only made that 95 cents. And with the inflation, the cost of living went up and the food went up, and then our wages went up. So when you're making $15 an hour, you do like the old timers do. This here is what these kids don't want to do. They don't want to wear a pair of shoes till they have holes in them and duct tape those things just to get to work. They don't want to sit down with a sewing needle and a thread and patch your jeans and your socks and darn things and do things, or knit hats or whatever you had to do for something cheaper when you got home from work. You know, those types of things. Instead of going out to eat, we would buy hamburgers and potatoes and eggs and live on them for a month. No, you do not do that. Don't tell me how we had it better. We made our lives better because we went without for that betterment. We didn't have new cars. I worked personally on my car to get back and forth to work. A woman putting her own motor in her car, or electronic ignition or alternator or whatever it was. I did that. I didn't go buy a new car. That's why we have land and a home, because we went without to achieve that. The same thing anybody can do now. It's the same equivalent with the food and the wage and inflation, identical. So don't even go there with your little bitty thoughts that we had it so much better. No, we didn't. We were in our schools, in our dresses, ducking down under our desks because of nuclear warfare threats. This shit started back in my generation. We were poked with the polio vaccine back then. You know, infected with smallpox. You just think about what you're saying before you say it, because it's untrue. It's nice to say, and yes, yeah, within, and eventually I was making over $2 an hour. When I made $2.19 and then $2.25, whoa. And then when I went up to like $3 and $4 an hour, oh my God, but things were more expensive. So really much hadn't changed within that. So what luxuries are you giving yourself that we went without to achieve what we've got right now? Tell me that. Okay. Because there's a lot of millennials that work and live with their parents, driving beautiful vehicles. And I'm not putting you down. And you're wearing your brand new clothes, and you go out and you buy your makeup and your jewelry or whatever you're doing. Things we did not do. And that's what we learned from the generation before. How to go without, and if you don't have it, if you can make it, if you can design it yourself, if you're inventive, that type of thing, you'll find a way to do it with no money. And that's how we learn how to do so much in our lives and why we have things. So believe what you will, but that's the facts of the matter. I watched the generation before me do the same thing. That's how I learned that. Have you ever canned or dried any food? Have you ever foraged for food? My kids were out picking mushrooms. They were fishing. My kids learned how to fillet fish when they were little. What do you do to save money for yourself? So just careful what you say, because you may not know what you're talking about. Could be an individual, and there's a lot of people doing it, but it doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it true. So. The cost of living goes up, so does the wages. It always has been like that. They just keep playing their games, you know. The minute you think, well, you get like a quarter raise or something. Back in the day, it wasn't by dollars, it was 5 or 10 cents or a quarter. Well, and then you find out that it comes out on the other end of the thing in taxes, So really nothing has ever changed. And that's the truth. Yeah, I wanted to touch on that because I do feel sorry for the guy that was talking. Because I can tell he's struggling. He's trying to make it in the world. And he wants a relationship, It's like, make things happen. You can't do things online for a physical situation. You have to go out and meet people. You don't hook up on a hookup site. Don't do that. Do things the old-fashioned way, and you're going to have old-fashioned results. Meet people in person. That's the only way you're going to do that. Yeah, we can make friends on here. We can even know where they live and actually become close and trusting, loyal friends to each other. That's, and that is a good thing. But you really don't know who you're talking to out on the internet. There's a lot of trolls that are faceless and nameless. But if you meet somebody in person, if you get in a group and you meet up and say if there's like a half a dozen people or whatever, a group of people that are going to do the same thing that you like in your life, if you do anything at all, that would actually mean getting up and actually doing something, though, Excuse me, I was choking bad last night because I am allergic to corn, but I wanted some popcorn, so I made some. I made quite a bit, actually, because Doug will probably snack on some today, and I don't think so, though, but I started choking. Pretty soon I was just about crying. Then I had a sore throat from my coughing, and it's like, oh, that was stupid, but I just wanted some. I didn't make my egg sandwich like I thought I was going to have. I had a small bowl of cereal and peanut butter sandwich. That was my meal. So I had popcorn. I choked. Then I went and grabbed some milk, had a sip, and thought cereal sounds good. So I had Cocoa Krispies, and I had frozen bread that I had made, and they were real small, so I cut them super thin. I had about 1.5 sandwich. Of a normal. I had about a normal sandwich with a small bowl of cereal. So I didn't really make a pig out of myself or anything. But if I hadn't stopped choking or started choking, I probably would have eaten way more popcorn that I am allergic to, and I wouldn't feel very good today. So that God is good all the time. Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that in there. No, I'm sure the lady, her channel is Rain Country, Dandelion Uses and Benefits. And just the look on her face, when first thing out of her mouth, I don't even know if she said hello first. She's like, God is good all the time. Just the look on her face when she was saying it, I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. If we know he's not necessarily good all the time, and there are like what's the word, consequences for our misdeeds, then well, you could look at it as a good thing. So I suppose, but it's just funny when people say that to me. I find it funny. Then 007, Richard Avery, 007's channel had he didn't get raptured and the earth is still here. Yeah. We didn't see anything of the eclipse. It was so cloudy and rainy yesterday. nothing, not a peep of the sun. It just was gloomy. Like earlier today, we have some sunshine today, and it's really nice out. It's like over 50 degrees, but not yesterday. So, and before that, they were spraying the heck out of our skies. So, I don't think they wanted us to see whatever. Nobody, I didn't see where anybody actually saw the devil's comet. Comet was supposed to be at like the 1 o'clock position to the sun. But I didn't see any sign of that. I saw a blue spot. It looked almost like a blue planet up in some clouds. I was watching Robin's Hood channel was showing the eclipse, and I thought I saw something up there, but I didn't see any of the debris in the tail from the thing. I haven't seen any of that, even on like NASA's footage, or none of it so far. Maybe somebody out there got a shot of that, but I'm not sure. That's what I was looking for. I was interested. I've seen lots of eclipses in my life. I just have not seen a comet in correlation and at the same time as an eclipse, which would have been really cool to see. I do have telescopes. I got 2 of them, but it wouldn't have been no sense. I've got a big one and a little one. It wouldn't have been no sense setting up either one of them because it was cloudy out. So I would have been wasting my time. So, like I do when I'm talking to people that have their mindset and they're set in their ways, and there's nothing you're going to do or I'm going to do or say to sway these people's minds. There's people that, like they're walking into hell. They're just walking in. They don't even have to be dragged in. They're willingly participating in things that are going to harm them. I mean, like a mindset, a soul feeling that's actually harming them, and they're willingly doing it. How can you look in the mirror and not know there's not a creator of you? You know, what was your mother and father the first people? Was that it? Unless you're tuck you in, always been, keep you free from sin, maybe. But if you're not that person, you probably haven't always been, but somebody was, you know. Cheers, everybody. Well, I'm going to get my goofy video uploaded here. I hope you all have a really beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.